Thursday on the basement show of Mr. Knast. I am Mr. Knast. Joining us once again for another fun-filled week, we have the DarthNexxu5, the Nexus Nation in the building. I hope everyone had a fun-filled Thursday. I was stuck at work, so I couldn't enjoy the beautiful weather here in South Jersey. I was kind of mad, but...
Say what?
It was 87
Are you serious? Were you in an air-conditioned building?
Nope.
I hate you.
Wegmans doesn't turn on the AC for people.
Say what? Say what?
I walked outside, I started sweating. It was hot, but who cares?
That's what I mean. You were cooler inside than you were outside. My building was hot all day. I had to open one of my windows that goes to the shop where there's trash trucks and fucking smell that while I'm sitting there.
Fair enough. We got Curtis in the building with a wise up.
What's up?
With fire attached to it.
Of course he's got fire attached. Sorry, John. While you can start us off, I'm fixing the whole turnbuckle thing right now because guess what? Who forgot to turn on his Twitch tonight?
Nice job, Matt.
Yeah, my ass fucked up.
But good evening, Curtis. Thanks for popping in. Hopefully we can get some more people popping in. We can hang out for a little bit. We figured we would go over Monday Night Raw a little bit, talk some AEW. But we also want people in the chat to give us ideas what they want to talk about as well. So, if you have any suggestions in the chat, what you like about the wrestling, feel free to drop them in the chat. It's an open forum, but we're just here to have some fun.
So I got a question. Since Curtis is always our first one in the chat, and I think I spelled your name right, Knast, yes.
Yep.
With that being said, what the hell's going on?
I don't know, but Curtis is telling you to get your shit together.
I'm just making sure it fixed itself. Shut up, Curtis. Did we ever ask Curtis who his favorite wrestler of all time is?
I don't think we did. So
Curtis, let's hear it, buddy. Who's your favorite wrestler of all time? And I guarantee you, before I already know what's going to be said. Just don't say nothing. I know what's going to happen.
Okay.
I already know.
I mean, other people in the chat have.
I am the first guy in everybody's chat. Of course you are. But let's hear this. Let's hear this prolific wrestling god of Curtis's.
Well, I
already know what it's going to be.
Well, then why are you being so surprised about it?
Because I'm being smug about it. I'm not being surprised.
What if he didn't watch wrestling? Maybe he's just hanging out here to support his
Bro, if you lived in Canada, you watched wrestling.
Okay.
And it being as old as we are, you definitely watched wrestling. I'm waiting. Come on, Curtis.
Curtis, don't feel bullied, okay? Matt's in the mood tonight, honestly. But
what? What? You know what? I'll leave this show. I will exit like Brock Lesnar did, throw a belt at your ass and spit on you and walk out.
Kind of funny. What are you going to do? Spit on your computer screen because then you got to clean it off yourself.
Well, technically, I can spit on my monitor because I can bring you up there in your own single frame, look you dead in the eyes, and go, fuck you, and out. And I can clean it off real quick because I got cleaning wipes right here. Sorry, what did you say? Sorry, I totally...
He's watching his Blue Jays. He's watching some baseball.
I asked, who is your favorite wrestler of all time? All time. But I want to add something to that. Who's the wrestler that got you into wrestling?
Damn, that's a kind of double-edged sword.
I already know what's coming. One of the answers will be what I think it is.
Oh, I have a feeling too.
How did I know? How did I fucking know? The Canadians always stick together.
Hey, it's a good choice, though.
It is. It is a good choice. But I knew it was going to be a Canadian wrestler from the 80s, so it was either going to be Brett, Owen, Jim the Anvil. You know, I knew it was coming. That's why I was being smug about it, because I kind of knew what was going to happen. That's why I wanted to ask the question.
I had a feeling myself, but I like to let people answer.
Oh, I know you do. I love it. That's why I love teaming up with you. We're like a great tag team. You're the straight, laid back tactician. I'm that wild, out of control, Brian Pillman style-esque person. You never know what the fuck's gonna happen.
Oh, okay, well, good thing my doors are locked.
Bro, don't go there. Don't go there. But
Matt's the second. I agree, Morgan.
Psycho Sid Vicious.
Well, you're Psycho Sid Vicious. I'm Mr. Perfect.
I was going to give you Santino Marella, maybe.
Wow.
Maybe. I'm joking. I could see, in all honesty, if you do that, like we used to do it as kids, like who do you think you could actually match up being? In all honesty, I could honestly see you being Owen Hart.
Me.
Yeah. Because Johnny, look at how much tactical time you take to set up every show. The knowledge you go into every show with, right? You're good on the microphone, right? You do carry a swagger about you when you get in here. And I think you might be part Canadian.
I'll have to look that one up for you. But
I know who I'd be.
Curtis is telling me to be careful. You might wind up in my bed tonight. Wouldn't it surprise me, Curtis? And good evening, Ron. Thanks for popping in tonight.
Ron, buddy, what's up?
But yeah, I mean, I have to look on the Canadian part. I know I'm German, Irish, and Polish.
Oof.
And apparently some Norwegian too.
Now, see, that's the thing. I got mom's side and dad's side. Mom's side is supposedly this: Scottish, Irish, German, Dutch, and English. Dad's side is German and Irish.
So you're like me. You're a mutt.
Oh, I'm a straight up mutt.
Look, you got wise up and move on.
Wait, where is the what's up counter? Because let's see, that's one from me, one from Curtis, one from me again, one for Ron, and then one for me again. I mean, we're at 5.
5 in the first 7 minutes. I mean,
in the first 7 minutes, we got 5. He just what's up again.
So, where do you want to start this fun show at tonight, sir?
All right, let's start with some Monday Night Raw shit.
Okay.
So, one of our asterisks actually came true.
Yes. The breakup of Lita, Becky Lynch, and
the originals, as they were calling themselves, right?
Uh-huh.
Trish Stratus turned on Becky. And didn't I say it was going to be Trish that is the one that turns?
Yeah, you did say that.
And you agreed with me, so...
I'm not saying I didn't, so you're right.
Did you actually see any of it?
I watched the
highlights. Like, I caught some of it and then watched the highlights after. They're hugging it out. Becky's trying to explain herself. And then Trish is bringing her in more and more. And I'm going, all right, here comes the turn. Here it comes. And then out of nowhere, just wham. And I'm like, saw that one coming a mile away. Well, WWE, wow me here.
Even though I did read that it's her first time turning heel in the 18-year career she's had.
Who, Trish?
Yeah.
No, Trish has been a heel before. She's always been that pretty girl. She's been a heel before. I mean, she was with Tess and Albert.
Yeah.
And technically, she was considered kind of a heel then. She was like an anti-hero.
True. Okay. I can see your point. Still think one of these shows somehow, some way, you have to get Native Author in here. Hey, Native.
What do you say?
I have one of my buddies. He's a big wrestling fan. He loves talking wrestling.
Yeah.
He does. He streams WWE 2K23 fantasy matchups and all that stuff on his stream. So he's saying that we have to get him in the chat somehow one time.
What chat's he in?
He's on Twitch. He's on Facebook. He's all over the place.
Oh, nice. What did Curtis say? I still think one of these shows, somehow, some way, you have to get...
Native Author. That's his gaming tag.
Oh, yeah. I would love to have Native on here, dude.
Trey's a very cool guy, so... I'll have to talk to him and see what we can do. And then...
Hey, guys, I'm doing a fundraiser. We have to look into that, dude. That's one thing, with streaming, you got to be careful. Like, granted, it's a fundraiser, you got to do things, but, we have to look into that kind of stuff. There's behind the scenes people that look into that for us. We'll definitely take a look into it, though. Thanks, Jack. Do appreciate it. What's Ron saying? She was a heel aligned with Test and then Mr. McMahon. Yeah. When she was with Mr. McMahon, too. I totally forgot about that.
Yep. Yeah, that's very true. McMahon's always played a good heel.
I mean, when she was in some bra and panties matches, you know she was the evil one. And we all know why, because she was the best looking one out of all of them.
True. But yeah, I mean, Becky versus Trish, like, I mean, the women's division has kind of in a lull right now. The champions don't really have top tier challengers, so they're trying to find a way to push this women's division. So I could see why they would make Trish and Becky go at it. I mean, that's top two perennial names in that women's division.
Now, here's my next thing. All right. Another asterisk moment on the same thing. So Trish turned on Becky, so you know that's setting up a Becky-Trish match, right? Mm-hmm. Lita was not involved in that point at any point in time. Now, we know Lita's gone this way, this way, this way.
Okay.
We know it. So, do we see Becky getting a friendship with someone new, maybe an old friend coming back, aligning themselves, and then during that, Lita's still with them, and all of a sudden, it's just Becky's about to beat Trish or something, and like something happens where Lita gets involved, and then it becomes another tag match like that.
I don't know. I would think that Lita would just like stay out of it. I mean, she would jump behind stage. You know how that always works.
Yeah, but what if she set up the jump behind stage so that her and Trish could take over the division?
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Like then like it spills out that Becky set Lita up getting jumped and all that stuff. Maybe they set up a triple threat match between the three of them. Who knows?
Yeah. Now, another thing from that night, women's division again, Damage Control. Some behind-the-scenes controversy right now. Io Sky. And what's the other one?
Io Sky,
the other girl. Not Bailey.
Dakota something, isn't it?
Dakota Kai?
Yes, there you go.
They all got into an argument backstage about Bailey getting a singles competition match.
Yeah.
And it came out that Io Sky was going to get the singles match instead. And during the after-match, after I believe she won, if I'm not mistaken, they're in celebrating, and you could see the look on Bailey's face as disgust and disdain. Do we see Damage Control breaking up?
Possibly.
As Bailey leaving, and then Bailey and Becky kind of hug it out?
Well, Ron just said, Bailey goes face.
Hey, it can happen. It's wrestling. But the match that was involved in was a triple threat match. It was Io Sky versus, she's now known as Michin.
Mia Yim.
But it was Michin, I forget how you say it, but it was Mia Kim.
Mia Yim and Piper Niven.
Yep. And you know who Piper was, right?
No.
If you watched wrestling about 6-7 months ago, or more than that, her name was Dewdrop.
Oh,
okay. Now, Dewdrop, this girl is a bigger girl. She is a bigger girl, and I say that, and there's nothing wrong with that. She's a bigger girl, and she had a crappy gimmick with that Dewdrop thing. She was a happy, bubbly person, this, that, and the other thing, which is not to say that you can't have that. But if you have a bigger person than most of the division, you usually want them as a heel.
True.
It works the storyline better. Now, having an upbeat person can work, but to me, it would be beneficial for her to be a heel. Now she's got this new look, new attitude, and it works. So I think if she keeps going the way she's going, I think her push could be big in the women's division.
Yeah, I mean, they're always looking to elevate it in some way or another, so someone new getting a new push doesn't surprise me.
No, never, not at all. Just like the, can you do this real quick? Because you know my computer's over here and I got no way to do it, and my phone's about 5%.
Okay.
NXT, the current NXT Women's Champions.
Okay, so current.
This is her old gimmick from then. Dewdrop. Yep. See, yeah, Ron knew it. Yeah, buddy. That's my boy Ron coming through with that.
Current,
Damn, Ron, we got to get you on the show one night.
I mean, he pops in whatever he wants. Current NXT Women's Champion is Nita Hartwell.
Nina Hartwell and who?
Oh, you want the tag team champ?
Yeah, the tag team.
Ah.
I said that. I said NXT tag team.
Okay, gotcha.
You didn't hear me?
Abba Faye and I said Dawn.
Dude, okay, I didn't know their names.
There's 7.
Well, Kevin said it, so that would make 8, wouldn't it?
Okay.
Who is up from Curtis again? And then another one for me. That's 10.
10 and 16 minutes. Keep it going, guys.
But I watched these two girls. You want to wow me? You really want to fucking wow me? Let them keep the titles in NXT right now, right?
Okay.
Let a few challengers from up top come down to, like, you know, do that thing like how the New Day did and the Usos did, go back to NXT. Same thing with Kevin Owens, shake it up. Ron just hit it again. There's 11.
I'm not doing chat at this point. Go ahead. I'm listening.
So I would love to see a bunch of those people come down. Not like the main card tag team in the women's division, but some of these like lower level ones go down and try and make a name for themselves against these two girls. Let them decimate some people. Let it be like Night of Champions or something, right? Or a big pay-per-view, not one of the Saudis, you know, one of the bigger pay-per-views. Have them come out as, like, you know, say like Lita and Trish were supposed to be in the match as a tag team. We're just hypothetically in this. And all of a sudden they got jumped backstage by Dakota Kai and Io Sky, right? From Damage Control. Okay. They get jumped and they're laid out. They can't do it. All of a sudden they're getting ready to change the match to a triple threat tag match for, you know, say like the championships, right? Mm-hmm. Have these two girls come out, have the match, right? Have them go to distance but lose it by crook. Like, say Bayley is still with Damage Control. Bayley fucking socks them in the jaw. Gets the win. They get the win. They keep their titles, or they win the titles, and then all of a sudden they go back to NXT. Have them lose their titles to a bigger star that comes back down to NXT as like a joke, like, yo, we're still pissed about this. We want a shot back at you. We didn't get a chance during that match to show it. We want your titles. Have them lose it, right? Okay. The next night or 2 weeks from then, have them come on to Raw or SmackDown. Not challenge for the titles, but do like a gauntlet series and have them work their way up and then take the titles.
I could see that. I mean, that makes sense. I mean, you'll always see that. Like, you see a team get, like, they hate saying it, demoted, like you said back then, NXT takes the belt, they drop them, but then that team that had the belts, you wind up seeing on the main roster. It's happened before.
Yeah, Kevin Owens, Finn Balor, Adam Cole, baby.
But, yeah, because the one that really had a good run going for a while was Mandy Rose. She couldn't do shit on the main roster, but then she got put down in NXT, held the singles title for almost 350-something days, then got herself fired.
Well, look at Finn Balor. He dropped back down to NXT to help Undisputed Era. He came in and was standing next to Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano versus Undisputed Era. And it was a 4v2, and then Balor's music hits, and he comes out and he stands with him. And then all of a sudden, Balor Pele kicks Johnny Gargano in the head, and Undisputed Era takes out Ciampa. And then from there, they were a dominant force in NXT while Finn was still going between main roster and small roster. But then he won with them.
Yeah, I mean.
But then dropped the title because he was going back up.
New Day did the same thing. They dropped their tag team titles, went down.
Yep.
Won the tag team titles, stayed down there for a while, and then worked their way back up.
They should have kept the New Day down there for at least, and I say this, for at least a year. Because what they do is they do that drop to boost ratings and shit, get more people packed in, get more people watching. And in all honesty, for me, it's one of those things where I would have been more enticed by watching the New Day face some of these guys than the people they've already faced, than the people that are new in that section trying to fight it. Tag teams being made up between people to, kind of fight somebody.
Makes
I
sense.
would have rather seen them down there for a little while longer.
Yeah, I mean, Darth Ziggler was down there for a while too. I didn't even know he was still with the company.
There was a lot of people that did that. Kevin and Sammy did it. There was another one that did it. It's not ringing a bell. Ricochet went down for a while,
Yeah,
and he was dominating it. I thought they were going to bring back like a cruiserweight championship.
I mean, it just shows you that there's too much talent on that main roster that not everyone has enough TV time.
But the problem is you keep all those people in your back pocket for when somebody goes down. The problem with it is you have too many on the main roster that are not that are behind the scenes more than they are anything at this point, waiting for a shot. And they're not on TV in any time. They're only in dark matches right now. But then you got a ton of people you're bringing into NXT. So now your rosters are all full. You have nobody going out on vacation or like, hey, we know this isn't a major issue. Doc said I can still wrestle with it, do things with it, but eventually we need to do it. I'm scheduling it from 6 months from now. So in 6 months, pending nothing happening, this person goes out, but that only fills one spot.
Yeah, I mean, you also saw that this past Monday night because I read a lot of the roster had a hard time getting to the arena. Being out in Seattle,
That was hard. And you know what killed me was the Sami Zayn and
Matt
fuck.
Sami Zayn, Matt Riddle came in the last minute.
Yeah, Riddle. Riddle. When they came in at the last minute, I was like, okay, was this a work or was it these guys were actually late to the thing and they were constantly, because we've all heard the stories about how things go on the road if something goes wrong. Like, hey guys, we're just checking on you. Hey, we actually got here. We are off the plane. We got a car. We can be there in 20.
Yeah.
Okay, when you get here, do this, do this, do this.
Yeah.
And they relay it and they're like, hey, do this, work the match a little bit longer, just a little long. Okay, hey, guess what? They just pulled in, finish the match, and then do your thing. And then it's like, hey guys, can you guys wait? Now go. I mean, it's they if they did that, and you know how I don't like Kevin Owens.
Well, Ron saying right there in the chat, flight was canceled, so
yeah. I mean, that's the problem because some guys they leave and because they can go wherever they want because technically a Fortune 500 company, you have to provide transportation for your people. You have to provide ways to do it. Now, if I'm saying, hey, it's Friday or whatever, I'm going home for the weekend because I'm not on any matches. I'm flying home. Now I fly home. I'm with my kids. All of a sudden, I got to fly out on this day. You guys tell me, hey, fly out on this day. We got it. You all booked. Everything's ready. You go to get to the plane. The flight's canceled. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Well, I'm 3 hours away. I'm going to jump in my car and drive there. Well, I'm 12 hours away. What the fuck am I going to do?
Well, that was the problem, too, is it being up in Seattle. Not the easiest of places to get to.
Not the easiest place to get to. And how many wrestlers really live out there?
Not many. A lot of them live in Florida.
Yeah, a lot of Florida, Jersey area, Midwest, Texas, Cali. What do you say? Wrestlers are independent contractors, must arrange their own travel. I know that, but I did watch a few things on certain documentaries that a Fortune 500 company does have to supply you with certain travel arrangements. Not all, Ron. You are right. Not all, but certain things. Like if you're at your hotel, you don't have to rent a car, take an Uber, or have your own driver. They're supposed to provide transportation to get you there. In certain contract aspects. I know back in the day it was that way. If they're fully independent, then yes, they have to do what Ron said.
If you're an employee.
Yeah, like John Cena. John Cena didn't have to do nothing. He was on the private jet as soon as he needed to be.
Yeah.
Triple H, same fucking thing.
Yep. I mean, some of those people have the money that they have their own private jet. other superstars rely on public airfare.
Well, Vince didn't just have one private jet. I think he had like two or three. And what it was he had them because in case something happened and he needed to get his main roster or events for that show out, he could.
Yeah.
But I think over the years he's probably sold most of them down and said, "Hey guys, listen, flap your wings if you got to get here."
Well, he didn't even show up Monday night. He wasn't even in Seattle.
Yeah, there was a lot missing, and I'm glad Triple H came out and did what he said.
Yeah. Well, when you,
I mean, why would you not tell the people if you just go on with a half-ass show and people are like, "What the fuck is this?" As long as you tell them, like most people are still going to be critical. You're going to have your Karens and Kens out there bitching like, "I paid all this money to be at this show and I didn't get to see who was supposed to be on the card and shit." Well, motherfucker, it's called life. If you don't like it, take a walk, exit, stage left.
I completely agree.
They're people just like us, just like all these people I see. Like, granted, you get that fan level going. You're like, "Oh my god, that's such and such." Be calm about it. Like, if you see them and like nobody's ran up to them yet, be calm about it and just like walk past or something. And be like, "Hey, excuse me, sir." Like real quiet. Like, "Hey, sir, excuse me, Mr. Lundquist, Triple H, big fan of your work. I know I don't want to bother you. You're out doing your thing with your family or whatever, but I'd like to say thank you. You were important." And then he might be like, "Hey man, let's get a picture together. Let's take a picture." But then everybody's gonna bum rush him. I've always said this: if I ever meet somebody who's professional, celebrity, whatever, I don't want to be that guy that just fucking, "Oh my god, oh my god." I want to be that guy like, "Hey, hey sir, how are you doing? Big fan. Thank you."
Yeah.
Walk away. If he goes and says, "That's it, you don't want an autograph," or, "Sir, you're out in your own world." If I see that you're at a Comic-Con or an event like that, I might come and ask you. I might come and pay money because you're taking time out of your schedule. I'll get a picture with you. Whether it's a really personal one, like shaking hands, hugging, headlock, whatever, I'll get a picture that way. If I want an autograph and I got to come up and pay for it, I'm fine with that because you're doing a service to us. Now, if that guy turns around and goes, "Yo, man, do you want an autograph?" Like, "Well, I didn't want to ask. I don't want to intrude." No, here you go. That's fine. I believe they're people just like us. They may be celebrities, but to have people rushing after them, knocking over other people to get an autograph, how childish can you be?
Yeah.
Be an adult about it. Present yourself a little better.
I got the perfect example for that when I met AJ Styles.
Oh, that's a good one.
He came. We were doing another podcast I did back in the day with two of my other friends. We were like doing a show at Adventureland in the old Voorhees Town Center. We were promoting CZW because he was going to be there at night. So he walks in the back room and he casually walks in. No one knew he was there, nothing. We were about like an hour before the event. We all had to start talking. Like I didn't ask for an autograph or nothing. And before the event started, I was like, "All right, let's all get a picture together." I never asked for an autograph or nothing, but super chill guy. He was awesome to meet in person.
See, I love this. I worked at a bar. Certain Eagles people had come in. I had never gotten an autograph, which was fine. I didn't care. I don't need that accolation. So one night, I'm at the bar working, cleaning up and bouncing at the same time. And I knew who was in the building. I had seen people rushing over, grabbing stuff. They had their own security guys blocking off an area so nobody could sit within the 3 tables of where he was at. He was there to see a singer. It was one of the slower nights, but every person from the kitchen staff to the bartenders to, the owners to this all ran up to him and got autographs, right? I'm still working. I'm going around the tables and shit. So I'm walking around and I'm taking trash and picking up bottles, and I happen to walk past, and his manager actually goes to stop me, and I go, "Hey, I work here. I'm just cleaning the table, just trying to." He goes, "Yeah, well, I was like, "I know, I'm cleaning the table," and I said, "Hey, does he need anything else?" And he goes, "Oh, we got the bartender. Sorry about that, but yeah." And I went and I walked past because I was still cleaning, and I noticed he was out of a drink, and I said, "Hey, champ, do you need another drink?" And he goes, "Yeah, I could take another drink." And I said, "Hey," and the manager stopped me and goes, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I said, "I'm getting the champ another drink." And I said, "Hey, put it on my tab. I'm good with it. I'll get it at the end of the night. The next 2 are on me." Didn't want to do it. And I told her that. I didn't tell the champ that. So his manager's getting pissed at me. Like, well, you need, we're not signing autographs. And I was like, I don't want an autograph. He goes, oh, you don't? I was like, I work here. I'm trying to do my job. And his manager was very nice. So all of a sudden I hear this. And he goes, hey, son, what's your name? I said, my name's Matt. He goes, come here, Matt. You got something to write it on? And his manager's like, no. I told you no more autographs. He goes, he's doing his job. That's all he's doing. He's making sure that people ain't near me. He's tossing people out every night. It's fine. And his manager goes, last one, that's it. He goes, kid, go over see the champ. I said, all right. So I had him sign a paper plate, and it says to Matt, right on, Joe Frazier. Okay, Smoking Joe Frazier. Bro, let me tell you something. When he signed it, I said, champ, I didn't want to come over here and get an offer. He goes, I know, I wanted to give you one. I shook that man's hand, as frail as he was, as old as he was. His ring, the top of it was like that. If you can't see that, it's like that. Two pugilistic people boxing, okay? When I shook his hand, I was walking away, and the manager said, I got to ask you something. Did you come over here intending to get one? I said, no, sir. I was doing my job. It's my job. I'm a bar back / bouncer. I pick things up. You guys had 5 cups there that could be washed behind the counter and 3 bottles. They need to go in the trash before something can happen. He goes, I like your attitude, kid. I said, thank you. He goes, you have a good night. I said, you too. And I sat there and I thought about it. I'm like, I was just doing my job. I knew who the man was. I wasn't, oh my God. Right there. The man said, hey, let me sign this for you. Yeah. And I still have that paper plate. I did something stupid to fit it in a frame so it wouldn't get busted. I cut the edges off of it to fit it in. So it's rounded here, and then it's got flat sides here, which I shouldn't have done, but I still have a personalized autograph from Smoking Joe Frazier.
Nice. We got Andrew in the chat saying, what's up? What's up, Andrea? Hope you're feeling better. And
she said, what up? She didn't say, what's up?
Same thing.
No, it's not. Says, no. If it ain't that way, we can't count it.
Okay. Vaughn said he got licked by Bushwhacker Luke at a personal appearance.
That's fucking gold.
Got licked?
Licked. You never remember they used to lick the Bushwhackers, Luke?
I know.
They used to lick each other's head. And I've heard about this in photo ops with certain people. They do like their claim to fame. And one of the things was the Bushwhackers looking like they're biting your head or licking it.
Well, the one Bushwhacker just passed away.
Yes, he did.
During WrestleMania weekend.
I did hear one of the Boogeyman, who most of the time was not like, everybody's like, oh, he's always in his face paint. He apparently, and this is, I don't know if it's true or not, I heard this on a rumor board, so it could be fake. At a signing, he not only put worms in his mouth, he put worms in the picture of the person who's taking a picture with him.
God. I feel sorry for that person.
I would have done it. It's the fucking Boogeyman.
Yeah. I mean, what was it, 2015 Royal Rumble? I got to see him up close in person.
Dude, without his makeup, he still looks the same. It's weird.
Yeah. Candyman 101. But, I don't know. What's next on your agenda that you have there?
All right, so let's go to, because we already touched on the Usos and that whole BS. Let's get back to the Usos, though.
Okay.
At the one point, I thought we were going to see the Samoan spike to one of the Uso brothers.
It's coming. I mean, it's a matter of time.
Oh, I know. And then you're just going to see the fall of the table, and it's just going to become one of those things where Roman's going to be on his shit. I mean, if they really want to wow me, and I hated this group for the longest time. I liked them. I liked the gimmick, but I didn't like that they did it that way because it was kind of cheap. John Moxley, if WWE can come to an agreement on somehow to bring him back, and because I've heard that Roman Reigns wants to challenge Seth, and Seth wants to challenge Roman, but I think they're really pushing that off to get a bigger build going for it and then sandwich it. I would really love for if the table's broken and they're going ready to go at it, another group takes both of them out. The match never happens. Another match gets put in, like just the beatdown happens at the they're fighting and all of a sudden the beatdown happens. Now, one night when they're going to do it again on a pay-per-view or whatever, that group comes out to take them out again, and all of a sudden you just hear Sierra Hotel, and then all of a sudden here he comes, Jon Moxley come running out as Dean Ambrose again and whoop ass. And then the Shield is reborn.
Yeah, I mean, the Shield was always a top faction for sure. Very cool idea, but never.
I don't
coming back. I mean, never say never. I mean,
no. Moxley's not going to come back, especially with his wife being in AEW now. And we all saw the writing on the wall when he left, and he did say that he had substance abuse issues, and it wasn't like hard drugs; it was alcohol, and shit. He got right. He's better. He really did. And when Renee went over there, it became, okay, now you know why people are leaving. She didn't just leave because of John. She left because there's shit going on at WWE that she was like, fuck this, I'm out.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of untold stories that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, apparently Rollins stormed off the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania because he got in a fight with the Raiders.
Yeah, which, think about this. Back in the day, the Montreal Screwjob. Right? I don't know if you've watched Dark Side of the Ring on Viceland, or Vice TV. There's a bunch of things in those and a few biopics that are going on about these things that you find out that nobody knew about it except for the ref. Sean was told about it but didn't get told it was happening.
Yeah.
And then Vince. So then, all of a sudden, it happens. You had to do it. And now, in all honesty, Bret Hart, and I'm going to say this, a lot of people are going to hate me. Bret Hart was a piece of crap for what he was going to do to the company, which was, I'm not losing my last night here. I am not losing that title. You don't leave. And back then, that was really taboo. That was like worse than breaking kayfabe. Okay? You do not leave with the title of a company that you were with for so many years and go to another company and show up on their TV show with it. So if I was in Vince's position, I would have done the same thing. I would have screwed you over worse than what happened. That little sharpshooter, and right as you're getting ready to reverse it, the bell rings, I'd have screwed you over worse. I'd have had Sean still lock it in. I would have somehow got you distracted, had a couple people come down, beat the hell out of you, like not really legit beat the hell out of you, but fake beat the hell out of you like you were getting stomped. And then I'd have had him put you in the sharpshooter again and have people hold you there, and then the ref get the cue to ring it. I would have made you look like a punk because you were going to punk us, an entire company, just to stick it to us that you're the hitman Bret Hart. You're the best. Listen, all the respect in the world for Bret Hart, but you do not do that kind of shit. You do not do that. That is worse than breaking kayfabe. That's worse than breaking character. And we've seen character be broken in front of people, and sometimes it's good. But back then, that was a no-no.
Still is.
But Bret Hart, still to this day, is pissed at Shawn because of it, still pissed at the WWE, and still pissed at McMahon. Brother, you put yourself in that position. You. Not them. You.
Yeah. I'm saying Shawn went directly to Taker after the match to explain.
Yeah, because he didn't want to do it. Plus, Bret Hart was threatening him. And in the locker room, apparently, Undertaker was the man. But in certain biopics, I've heard that Undertaker was pissed and didn't even talk to Shawn. And he asked him, were you in on it? And Shawn was like, But you hear different sides of the story. You don't know who's true. But at the same time, if I was Taker, the man in the locker room, I'd have gone to Bret and go, yo, dude, what are you thinking? Yeah. You know you can't leave with the title. Go out there, put on the match of your life, and let Shawn just win it. Or talk to Vince real quick and be like, hey, through the match, I'm just going to get a fucking nasty injury. But he couldn't because what did he do? He signed a contract saying he'd be on that next taping or that next live show for WCW.
True.
He should have played ball. And then it could have been a greatest thing ever instead of the screw job. But I will say this, the screw job, still to this day people talk about it.
Oh, absolutely, and they always will.
He had the chance to make the biggest push for Shawn Michaels, right? Have the biggest, best match of both of your careers at the time. Have Shawn win the title from you. You walk out with the crowd saying, "Thank you, Brett," instead of them booing. And he still swears that they were booing because he got screwed. No, they were booing because he acted like a fucking baby.
Yeah, plus he spit in McMahon's face.
See, the spitting in McMahon's face, I will say this, that's disgusting, that's fucked up, but it added to the drama.
Okay, yeah, I mean, yeah, it did. No disagreement there.
Eh.
So, good evening, Kelsey. My cousin just popping in to say hi.
What's up, Kels?
That's my family from Colorado, so.
Mile High State.
Yep, big Denver and Colorado fit. That look.
Oh, boo!
You got what's up from her.
What's up? All right, now we're over 12.
Night, guys. Great show as always. Night, Ron.
Night, Ron. Have a good night, buddy.
Talk to you tomorrow. Go Broncos. She's poking the bear.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, the Bears are basically dead. You could poke them all season long.
Yeah, sure.
All right, so what do you want to get into now, bro?
How do you feel about the whole Cody Rhodes Brock Lesnar thing?
All right. So I don't know if you've ever watched them. They're on TikTok as Straight Shoot.
Okay.
And that's all they do is wrestling talk. They do like Kiss Marry Kill stuff. They do Guess the Wrestler. They do a bunch of shit. And they, at the beginning of the whole thing, before the Brock Lesnar thing happened, they said, we already know Cody Rhodes is never going to hold another title in WWE. After everything that transpired prior to, he will never hold a WWE title. And I'm kind of starting to see that now after what they did to Cody.
True.
The Brock thing was a perfect angle. Because if Brock, even with him coming back out and flipping them off now that the UFC and WWE are like this, even if Brock doesn't go back to the UFC side, he stays in WWE, it sets up a great thing. The Beast incarnate, Brock Lesnar versus the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. Now think about this. We've all seen Cody as Stardust go to that crazy nut job, fucked up individual phase. We've seen Cody as the babyface. We've seen him as a heel in Legacy. But we've also seen the really dark side of Cody when he was in New Japan Pro Wrestling. What's up, Uncle Chazzy? That's 15. Count it.
And Curtis signed off for tonight, so I was just putting Curtis.
See you, Curtis. Love you, bro. Thanks for stopping by and hanging out with us. But no, I see it being Cody Rhodes goes back to that dark place he was in New Japan when he started to get with the Bullet Club and become the elite or the goal or whatever it was. And when he was in that mind frame, he started to come back to the Cody we see him as now. Tactical, on point, sharp as a tack. But he was in that place, man. He was in that fucking place. And I see that being like, he goes back and it's like, all right, Lesnar, I don't want no tricks. I don't want no fucking chairs. I don't want this. I want you. Me and you. And I know what's going to happen. He's going to be beating the shit out of him, beating the shit out of him. And then at one point, Cody's going to get a lucky shot in. He's going to go for the twist of fate. As he goes for it, Lesnar's going to swing with it, reverse it, put him into an F5 him, and it's going to be over. Right? If, and this is the biggest if ever, if Cody versus Brock happens, if Brock Lesnar beats Cody Rhodes, you will never see Cody win a title in WWE ever. He will still be mid to main card till his contract's up.
Fair enough. Evening, Mark. Thanks for popping in tonight. Nice to see you in chat. But no, I could see them like.
What's up, Mark? How you doing, bub?
Running like Cody Rhodes for a gauntlet type thing.
Mm.
Like you started off with Brock and then you just like echelons up from there. The bigger the names.
If he wins, right? You're saying if he wins,
yeah,
right?
like, almost like a Mortal Kombat type thing.
Yeah, but if you do that and you beat Brock, who else is there to beat? Really, literally, you go right back to Roman Reigns.
No,
unless you put like Drew McIntyre in front of him, unless you put like
Bobby
Lashley, even maybe Sheamus, somebody the caliber of like say, AJ Styles, Seth Rollins. But at that point in time, if you're already doing that, why not exclude Brock from the whole thing and just take him on that journey? And then right before he gets to Roman or whoever's champ, it's Brock you got to go through. Now you get a bigger match with a bigger setup, but if Brock wins, that means you're never going to see a title.
I don't get the whole Cody push myself. I mean, he was mid-card most of the time. Now he comes back and has this massive push.
The massive push comes from when he left WWE and he went over to New Japan. In New Japan, they take stars that are already big stars and either A, throw them into like, I want to call it like rivalry matches right out the gate, like going after the top guy just to show their dominance, or you put them in things like the Bullet Club, the Elite, formations that are good. Like it was the house. What was it? It wasn't the House of Rhodes when they were together. It was Cody Rhodes' brother, QT Marshall, and a few other people in AEW, and they were in this stable, and it was great. They were there, and they give him. And after all that he's done, the big hype was around giving him this big push was Cody Rhodes has really come a long way in his career, but he left AEW where he was a VP of operations and everything. Top guy on the roster who took himself down the mid-card roster to bring other people up and showed that he didn't have to have that fame and shit to do it and focused a little more on behind the scenes. So when WWE and him came to terms, it was like, yo, dude, we want you. We got angles. And most of the angles are top card right now.
Yeah, I understand that, but I think why you're getting Lesnar versus Cody now, because Lesnar's contract's up, and they've made it known that Lesnar's done.
Oh, Lesnar's either A, going to stop everything, or he's going to go back for one more match against like one to three matches. It'll either be, hey, I'm coming back to fight for the title at UFC, or I'm going to fight this match, then I win, then I'm going for the title. If he wins the title, he'll probably stay around for another 4 fights and then retire. If he loses the title fight, he'll just retire.
I mean, but
he's got money. He don't need to work. The man owns like hundreds of thousands of acres out in the middle of nowhere, has all the things he needs. He's got a great wife who's got money too. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Sable? Shit.
Saskatchewan? I think that's how you say it. Someone up in Canada.
No, I thought it was Michigan.
No, he's up in Canada now.
Oh, is he in Canada? I know he was I think he was in Wisconsin. He was in Wisconsin because Hornswoggle is from there, and they used to talk on when they were in the same promotion together. They used to talk about Wisconsin weather and football and shit like that.
Fair enough. Somewhere up north, prefer to be that way.
Yeah, I think it might be Wisconsin. I don't think it's Canada. I think it's Wisconsin.
He might be Curtis's neighbor, all we know.
Oh, dude, if it was Curtis's neighbor, that's the polar bear that's going to kill fucking Curtis.
But he says there's no polar bears in Canada. Remember that.
If Brock Lesnar lives there, there's a fucking polar bear in Canada.
Fair enough.
So, what else did I see that night?
I just hope Brock doesn't retire before we get to see him wrestle Gunther. Ooh,
I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. I really don't.
A good match, though.
I don't. I really don't. I mean,
unless he's doing it. What if he agrees to push Gunther and it's a good back and forth type match?
Yeah, but if you push Gunther, right? Why wouldn't you push somebody like Sheamus? I
So
would prefer to see a Sheamus push against Brock than a Gunther. I would like to see Gunther take on like Drew McIntyre singly, lose, come back for the title, lose again, do a gauntlet match saying that he knows he can beat him, and then right as you're getting that McIntyre push to the top, let Gunther win it back, and then push Drew to the top.
I mean, you could, but you're not gonna have Gunther just drop a belt that easy. He's had that 200 and something days.
Yeah, but see, the problem is it doesn't matter about how long you've had it and how you keep it. It's that push afterwards, man. It's so Gunther loses it, and instead, like you can't really you push Gunther. Say you start to push Gunther, it's not working out, and you realize it. Now you got to have something back up. So you run him through you run him. He doesn't take his contractual thing because you're pushing him. Now all of a sudden he goes after McIntyre, goes for the McIntyre, and loses, and then says like, oh, there was an image of him basically getting his shoulder up before the 3 count, but the ref didn't see it, so there's an asterisk there. So then all of a sudden McIntyre's still rolling through people, Gunther's still rolling through people. Gunther says, I'll run the gauntlet, I know I can beat him. Gunther runs the gauntlet, winds up winning that pay-per-view, whatever it may be. He fights McIntyre, takes the title, wins it back in an emotional event, whether he's a heel still or becomes like anti-hero or babyface at that point. You have McIntyre drop the belt. McIntyre takes on somebody else and starts fighting, and he comes off of like that and starts wrestling again, and then all of a sudden he gets a chip on his shoulder and goes after a champ. You know what I mean? Like, it's anyway, there's so many angles that can be played with everybody. They just got to do it right.
Yeah.
And I think the writing staff nowadays has run out of ideas, man.
They have. I mean, I feel
They're repurposing shit from like the Attitude Era with the wrong people doing it.
No, I could agree with that. I mean, Christ, you still have Dominic and Ray going at it. I mean, just
well, now you got Dominic going against Bad Bunny in Puerto Rico.
But apparently, they're making that a tag team match.
Yes, it's going to be him and Damian Priest versus Ray and Bad Bunny.
Yes,
which I would love, because it brings to the point that Bad Bunny's not a wrestler, but the man actually is athletic.
He is athletic, yes, but he can't carry a match. So you're basically going to see another.
Well, what's he doing for the next X amount of time till the match? I mean, is he on tour right now? I don't think he is.
Well, he showed up at the Raw after WrestleMania.
Yeah, I don't think he's on tour, so you're not seeing Bad Bunny out in like the clubs and out doing promotional shoots. Where's he at? He's probably in the ring training, not every day, but he's training like 3 times a week, 2 times a week, going to the gym, working out with the guys, seeing the different angles they want to work.
True. Mark has a good question. Maybe you can help answer it. So, can anyone tell me what has happened to Shinsuke Nakamura? Shinsuke, he has just seemed to disappear.
Last time I saw Shinsuke was in NXT. I don't know. You could probably look it up, John, and see if he's on the NXT roster right now.
I probably could.
I think he might. Last time I saw him, he went down to NXT, and he was in NXT, and that was the last time. And I think he had a match against somebody, because I heard the violin, I heard his music play. He did something. No, I think he's back in NJP.
You're both wrong. Shinsuke Nakamura's return is confirmed for 4/14. He is coming back tomorrow night.
From what though?
I don't know. Shinsuke Nakamura is returning to WWE SmackDown.
All right, so he's coming back. I don't know where he was for the time from NXT till then, but I swore at one point he was in NJP for something. Whether it was like the G1 Classic or whatever, or something else, but he was there for something.
Nakamura, Shinsuke, I'm just going to say, Shinsuke had the opportunity to return to Japan to face the Great Muta at the New Year's Day event for Pro Wrestling Noah as part of Mutada's retirement tour. Shinsuke won that bout and went on to compete at a couple WWE house shows in January, but has not had a match in over 2 years.
Yeah, probably because he's on the blacklist, which means they were like, here's your time off. You said you needed healing, whatever.
See, now that you mentioned it, I believe he was on NJPW because he wrestled on the card for Malaga's final match.
Yeah, there's a lot of New Japan Pro wrestlers that I've heard, and most people, like AEW lets them go as long as it's not interfering with their product going on at that time. We'll let them go back and do things, and especially because New Japan Pro Wrestling over there, that is like everybody says, oh, WWE is the mecca. Look at them; they've been around forever. WWE is the mecca of wrestling. New Japan Pro Wrestling is. Whoo, dude. Yo, the arenas, like granted, at WWE events are packed. The arenas are fucking mobbed.
Yeah, well, what else do you have over in Japan to watch?
Sumo wrestling,
baseball,
wrestling. Oh, yeah. What else they got? They
question.
play cricket, huh?
So that was a dumb question.
Well, there's a lot they can do, but I mean soccer. But cricket. But I mean, dude, seriously, I've watched when I started watching New Japan Pro Wrestling back when like Finn Balor had just created the Bullet Club. I was like, before that I had seen it, and I was like, Then I see like Finn Balor, Carl Anderson, Doc Gallows, and I was like, oh shit, the Tonga brothers, Kenny Omega, there's a lot of Japanese wrestlers over there too and luchadors, like crazy, bro.
I believe it. So
and a lot of the Americans, they get like the fucking cheers out the ass more than their even own people sometimes.
I could see that. Man, those matches with Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay got me started.
Will Ospreay, yes, they were good. The matches I loved with Kenny Omega, in all honesty, I will say this: it was him and his tag team partner. They were the Love Guns. No, I forget what they were. Something Love. I forget his partner's name. God, it's escaping me. It's been so long. They were a fucking phenomenal tag team. It was a Japanese wrestler. They did some of the most amazing things together, tag-wise. It was just poetry in motion just watching them. It was like watching a ballet, but wrestling.
Love Story?
Maybe that's it. I don't know. Who was the other person?
Kota
Ibushi.
Kota. I would say Kota.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's the name of the tag team right there, Love Story.
They were a great tag team, dude.
Well, I don't know how true it is, but apparently Kenny Omega had talks with WWE about coming over to WWE.
There are talks right now about it, too. My thing is right now the Elite is on a hot streak over in there. They're feuding with Blackpool Combat Club, which is Jon Moxley, Claudio, which used to be Cesaro, and Yuta Wheeler.
Isn't Bryan Danielson in that too?
And he came back, and he is part of it too. But Danielson wasn't on the other night when it was Wheeler, Yuta, Claudio, and Jon Moxley getting, like, Kenny Omega came out. And that's the thing. Hangman Adam Page has been doing the whole, I'm not with a group. I'm not with the Elite no more. I'm not with the Elite. But he's helped out. He's stopped somebody off, but they haven't brought him back into the fold. Now with Danielson starting to come back, it's going to be 4 against 3. And I see Hangman Adam Page coming out and joining the Elite again. And that right there, besides now you not only have the Elite in AEW, you have Juice Roberts and the Switchblade Jay White as Bullet Club Gold. There is the Elite who is Bullet Club basically, and now there's Bullet Club Gold. Blackpool Combat Club could join with another group, and it could just be an all-out melee between 4 factions, dude. Like maybe even the House of Black.
Well, that's what I heard. Like I've watched some AEW, and that's why I have noticed a lot of fractions in that promotion. There's a
Yeah.
lot of groups because you have such a big roster that you can't get everybody's airtime being solo. So you put everyone together in the fractions to make it more better.
So let's go to that. Let's count the titles. You ready? AEW World Title.
On.
I believe there's a TBS title, a TNT title.
Yep, 2-3. International Championship.
International Championship. The Trios Tag Team Championship. The Tag Team Championship. The Women's Championship. And then there's the FTW Championship held by Hook. Then you have the Ring of Honor championships that have been defended on there. You have the AAA titles that have been handled on there. The list goes on, man. There's main titles for AEW, but then there's titles that come from other promotions that get lumped in.
Do you agree with this statement by Mark? He's glad that Jay White came to AEW. I believe he would have got buried. I mean...
Now, Mark, I love that, but I don't think he would get buried there, given what you could do with him if you get the right acquisition there. If you were to sign Jay White to a WWE contract, and it was me doing it with my thought process, you bring him in silently. Like, I mean, so silent, no wrestler, nobody knows it except for 3 people behind the scenes who have contractual agreements not to say shit. Jay White does not come out on any events, does not show up to any events, and basically stays to himself doing what he needs to do. You bring in, say, you've got AJ Styles. Say AJ Styles is coming back. You can't have 2 leaders, right? But say AJ Styles is getting his ass beat by a group now. You bring the Switchblade in, he comes out and helps. But then you sign Gallows and Anderson again. Now you have a Bullet Club. And the thing is you're not going to have 2 leaders, but we've seen it before where they've coexisted until it's time to mutiny. I think Jay White done right could have ran WWE. But, like you said, I love that he's in AEW right now, especially with Juice Roberts, because now you not only have them, you have the Elite over on the other side. You have other people from the Bullet Club in different promotions that's contracts are coming up, and they could go anywhere. Could be a big Bullet Club reunion in AEW and run roughshod and take all the titles.
You brought up AJ Styles. I was trying to figure out where he was, and he's out with an ankle injury.
Yep, he's out. He's out, I think, for another 10 weeks, I think.
Yeah, that's what this article's saying. Yeah. So
I'm a big AJ Styles fan. So.
Oh yeah, like I said, I got the chance to meet him, and he's a super chill dude. His ring awareness is freaking amazing.
Oh yeah, dude. His ring awareness, but his video game knowledge too. Fucking, oh my god, dude.
Oh yeah, we had fun with him when you got to meet him. That was pretty cool.
So what do we want to go on next? Does anybody in chat have anything they want to talk about?
Yeah.
Bring something up. Anything.
Open it up. I mean,
old school, new school, relevant, not relevant. Sumo wrestling, micro wrestling. Even though I've never watched micro wrestling, but I hear the guys over at Straight Shoot talk about it all the time. And the one guy's favorite is Pinky Shortcake, I think her name is. John might have to look it up to see if I said it right.
Pinky Shortcake?
Pinky Shortcake micro wrestling.
Pinky? I can't believe I'm looking this up. Shortcake. Pinky Shortcake Wrestler. Oh, what's this?
Right? Am I right?
Dwarfnators Wrestling?
It should be micro wrestling.
Pinky Shortcake.
Now, there is another wrestler over there. He's a luchador. Ligma.
Ligma?
Yeah.
Lig. Oh yeah, fucking oh that.
Ligma.
Ligma.
Ma.
I'm not seeing this one pop up.
You're not seeing Ligma?
Nope.
Ligma balls, John! Ah! Got him again!
Time out. I'm not letting you talk for the next 30 seconds. Say your story. This is bullshit. I keep getting picked on my own show, and I'm not going to stand for it. I won't go off camera, but you can't talk. I like that.
I love you, buddy. You know what? I had to. Come on, man. That was some good, fun entertainment.
You look how I'll end the show right now.
Oh, come on, dude. Why are you going to... The fans don't want that to happen. Do you, fans? Chat, can I get a poll? Do you guys want him ending the show, or do we want to keep going?
Should I get off the show and let Matt run the show by himself?
No, don't do that. Don't you have a man cry. Don't you have a man fit. Don't go through menopause on me.
Man child, get it right.
Man child.
I'll just take your knees out when we have a inflatable sumo match.
All right, you ready? I got one for you. And this is not, I'm not going to get you on anything. You know who Courage JD is, right? You know who Cypher PK is. You know who Ninja is, obviously.
Yeah.
They do this to each other all the fucking time. And they get such a huge reaction. Now, here's the thing. I get it. I set you up. I shouldn't do that. You're my friend. But it makes for great content, bro. Come on.
I mean, I could do what Wigan did to me if you want me to.
Oh, God. What did you do?
I can't tell you. It would ruin the whole thing. But I can play a game with you if you want to play games.
Oh, baby. Don't threaten me with a good time.
You want to try it? See if you get it figured out?
All right, let's go.
You got to say the opposite of what I'm trying to say.
Oh, all right.
Always.
Never.
Taking. No. No, sorry. Leaving, sorry.
Coming.
No.
You said leaving.
Yeah.
I said coming.
I forget, but
come on!
I forget how it goes. I'll have it for next week.
All right, you have it for next week. I'll be surprised and shocked.
I think you already know where I'm going with it. But
probably, but we're gonna do it anyway because this is what we do. This is why we're family. This is why we're so crazy.
But yeah, if there's anyone in chat that wants to talk about anything specific, I mean,
while they're thinking of something, I got one.
Okay, I got the AEW results right here from Monday night.
Yes. There was one match I didn't watch. What the fuck was it? Oh, Chris Jericho won it by crook against Keith Lee.
Who's one talent I think WWE screwed over big time.
They wasted his talent in that ring. For a big guy, for what he was doing and capable of doing, they screwed the pooch, man. They gave away a golden goose there.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
But yes, he won it by crook. Keith Lee had said it to Jericho. Is his big baby, blah, 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 waste of time, da, da, da. And they get into the fight, and Keith Lee basically had the match won. And as they were both down, Keith Lee was getting ready to get back up, and one of the Jericho Society came out, got stopped, and then a masked figure came out and hit him, and then I didn't see who the masked figure was. Because I turned it off because, in all honesty, I've never been a Chris Jericho fan. I love the gimmick. I love the swagger he's got. Great guy. I would, I would give respect where respect's due. But I never liked Chris Jericho for just obvious reasons. But I will say this. One thing you cannot deny. The power went out on the Jericho cruise, which is a cruise where they have wrestling, music, and all that. They had an outage of the music. The entire boat sang Judas. Which, if you've never heard this song, you need to go look up Fozzy Judas. Let me tell you something. I don't like Chris Jericho as a musician. Not that it's not my cup of tea. Other people do. I'm not taking away from talent. But you hear that song and you just have to sing.
Yeah. I've listened to his music before. I actually enjoy it. The music video is a little weird, but he actually puts out some pretty catchy tunes. I think
So
Fozzy just an area about 2 weeks ago.
yeah.
I'd pay to go see him at least one night. I think it'd be pretty
cool. Another thing, Wardlow destroys Powerhouse Hobbs' car.
Is that the picture I just saw?
Wardlow destroying, like, it looks like a Dodge Demon, but I think it's like a Dodge Challenger SRT Hellcat.
Yep.
Black and orange or something like that. Black and red.
Yep.
That's going to set up for, those are two big behemoths that I think AEW, when they got Powerhouse Hobbs and they had him in that faction, wasted his talent a little and knocked him down and set him back a few years. Now that he's got it back and it's against Wardlow coming up, this sets up a big thing, because not only do you have power, and I'm talking big guys, I'm talking huge, like fucking, not only do you have Powerhouse Hobbs and you have Wardlow, you have the Machine, Brian Cage. I'm going to see Fozzy and Charlotte. Nice.
Just had to pull that up.
I got to know, Mark, since you're going to see him then on the next show, we're going to want to hear your thoughts on the show, but we also want to know, did the entire crowd sing Judas in its entirety?
You're giving our viewers homework.
Oh, I'm giving them homework to do.
That's fine. I have no problem with that. But
so
I watched some AEW, but I would let
but
you know.
You got the Machine Brian Cage there. You got this person. Now, Lance Archer, I don't know where he fell off to. Lance Archer was a fucking phenomenal athlete coming up, especially having Jake the Snake Roberts as his handler, basically. The problem with him was he had no real promo skills. He had no real presence. He had no real vibe. It was just, he's this big dude. Jake's his promoter. Jake's his mouthpiece. Call it a day. And Jake the Snake don't sound like Jake the Snake no more.
No, not at all.
So, I mean, you kind of like fall off with that.
Matt is a nude.
Brother, game recognizes game. You a nerd too. I don't want to hear that shit. Mister, I came out at my friend's wedding in a robe with a blind wing on and went, woo! Which made my night. Thank you very much.
It was a very good entrance. I remember like it was yesterday. Not every day you get to see Ric Flair in person.
Not every day you get to see Adam dressed up in a wig, though. I loved it, though, Adam.
Entrance of the night. I don't care what anyone says.
Yes, definitely. I mean, the bride and groom couldn't even top that one.
No. Sorry, Gav.
Yeah, they knew it.
Well, they were the ones that allowed it, so.
Yeah.
That's why I walk around my house with all that.
Yeah, what, the wig or the robe?
Or both.
Or both.
He could be doing the Ric Flair strut in his house and practicing all of it. See?
All of it. Ah, that's great. He's even doing the strut.
Yeah.
Bouncing off the ropes. Woo! Oh man. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, nothing underneath. I was going to say that he's probably doing the Buffalo Bob. He probably tucked it in too.
Jake is one of the best ever at promos. Would I think he could help Archer become a little better?
He did kind of, but the problem is Archer has no like personality. He really didn't. Like from what I had seen in like promo videos and shit before he got to AEW, it was like, you know, he was just supposed to be some big scary dude. Well, if you're that all the time and you don't have the presence, the promo presence or anything, you really have nothing unless you have a mouthpiece. And granted, Jake the Snake is a great mouthpiece for you, but Jake the Snake, because I don't know what's up with his throat when he's talking like this, it's kind of rough to understand Jake, and he gets winded a little bit. So it was kind of like you were like, okay, Jake, maybe it's time to hang this up. If you really wanted to wow me at that point, I would have brought in somebody like, not even Tony Blanchard. I would have brought somebody else in from the back, like maybe who's back there in their fucking ring. They've got a bunch of people. Like Billy
Well, yeah,
Gunn was back before Billy Gunn came back out to wrestle. I would have put Billy Gunn out there as his mouthpiece, be like the you know like how Ted DiBiase and IRS were. Come out there as a mouthpiece a little bit, do this, do that, you know.
yeah. But that's what's cool about AEW. They let them do their own promos.
Oh yeah. But I mean, to me, there's certain people that really should not be. Oh, excuse me, cutting promos unless they've worked at it, done a quick testing with like a bunch of the locker room sitting in watching them do it, and then agreeing on whether A, is it worth a damn, or B, what needs to be fixed, and then see if he can emote, enunciate, and do it with feeling and like as if it's natural and not scripted.
Yeah, well, that's what I've. The biggest gripe I've heard about AEW is people think they need to invest in writers because it's the same stuff, or they're just throwing two people together. Okay, you're wrestling him, you're wrestling him, no build up or nothing. So you don't get those storylines like you get in other companies.
I mean, I agree, but there's a problem with writers too. You have like 12, say you have 20 writers in a room figuring out everything going on, and you section them off like, hey, you four have these, five groups, and you four have this group of people, you have this group of people, you have this group of people. They're not collaborating together. They're talking amongst themselves between four people on X amount of matches when they should have been like, all right, let's start with this match. All 20 of you, let's go around. Now you throw out ideas, you throw out ideas, you throw out ideas. One guy who's got common sense and hears everything and listens to it and starts dissecting everything in his head all at once, going, okay, I like what he said, but I think his was better. But if we did this way with him, and him as this, and then push this way, we could really make something. Granted, I get it. Writers are going to make it better. But at the same time, you have a lot of those guys who don't want the writers involved because now it changes their character that they've built from the ground up.
Yeah.
It takes away from this rivalry that they've worked out in the back.
Well, and that's what's good about AEW too. You have all these wrestlers who, at one form or another, have worked together. Whether it be Ring of Honor, New Japan, WWE, WCW, like just so familiar with each other that they know they feed off each other, and it's great.
Mm-hmm.
And AEW, they don't hold back. I watched some of these promos, like holy shit.
Yeah, they're getting a little bit more risque. They really are. They are. I mean, and it's great. It brings you to that attitude era, man. But the problem is like WWE went from TV 14 to PG 13 to PG, back to PG 13 for like a small amount, and is now back to PG. And it's like, why? I get it. There's young fans out there. You're trying to appeal to the young fans. But if you want to keep the fans you have plus introduce young, you got to keep it PG 13. The parents who are like, if the parents are watching this, they should be telling the kids, like, hey, man, listen, this is fake. Like, granted, it's entertainment, but it's fake. He's doing this way. He's faking that. Granted, he might get injured, but explain it to the kids. Eventually, they'll have the knowledge to understand it. Like, okay, yeah, it's fake, it's scripted, but I can have a good time watching it.
Yeah.
And I don't have to ruin it.
I mean, the PG rating, I feel like it definitely has ruined it.
Oh, it has. Big time.
Because if you look at the audience, like, I guess, numbers, most people who tune in to wrestling nowadays are in their mid-20s or early 40s.
I saw the demographic where it says it's like mid-teens, so like, say, 15, 16-year-olds starting up to like 40-year-olds.
Yeah. Well, the 40-year-old still invested because he remembers the whole attitude era.
That's well, not just...
We were a teenager when that happened. Now we're trying to still people younger than us.
But look at some of the wrestlers that you're hearing are back out there. Billy Gunn still wrestles here and there, right? Yeah. You've got a Big Show and Mark Henry as backstage people over in AEW. Not saying that they're never going to wrestle again, but they're over there and it's like, oh, wait a second. Hang on. Something big might happen there. But then you got these people coming up from like QT Marshall started what's called the Factory. We've talked about this, the AEW. QT Marshall was a graduate of the Monster Factory. And he
Mm-hmm.
started a thing of the Factory. Now, I noticed for a fact because I watched a dark match that's a non televised event, and it was a wrestler that I know of from the Monster Factory who was training with a guy I knew and I'm close with, and he actually was on a dark match against Santana and Ortiz in a tag match. He started out in the Monster Factory and now still wrestles at the Monster Factory, but has taken on to New Japan Pro Wrestling as well.
Yeah, which is awesome to see.
So it's like the Factory thing I haven't seen much on AEW lately, and I don't know why, but I hope it makes a return. Because if Sheamus's contract is coming up, bring Sheamus to AEW into the Factory and him be like the catalyst that projects the Factory out.
I don't think you should get Sheamus jump to AEW, but I wouldn't be surprised if you see Drew McIntyre or somebody like that go over.
I'd prefer to see Sheamus. I'd rather leave Drew in WWE. I think Sheamus could bring a lot more to the AEW scene than Drew could. Because, I mean, granted, Drew's come a long way from being in 3MB, you
Yeah.
know. But at the same time, we've seen Drew when he was in TNA, and that's where he became that big shot, But like I see Sheamus being more of a catalyst there than Drew McIntyre. I think Drew needs the push in WWE for the titles. He needs to be up there as top contender again. I think Sheamus is starting to wind down in his career. I think if he makes the jump to AEW, he becomes the catalyst. Start him out like low mid card, because he's just coming in, but he comes in as the factory catalyst to bring that group up, bringing in younger talent, bringing them in as like an onslaught. Like all of a sudden he goes after the Blackpool Combat Club. Him and Moxley are in a feud right now, and you're bringing all these wrestlers you've never heard of into the fold, and you're seeing their talent, and they're behind a guy like Sheamus, and you're like, wow, okay, now you push Sheamus up the ranks a little more and go, all right, Sheamus, we got you. We got you a title match. It ain't the title, but it's a big title match. We want you to take it at this pay-per-view. This is what's going to happen. Then you see these other guys start to come in. And I think it would be better to see Sheamus there because in all honesty, you got to give McIntyre that push in WWE. He's been hard on it for a while, and he needs to be up there.
Yeah, well, you saw that with Sheamus when he joined with Pete Dunne and Ridge Holloway. They try and make
That's a great faction right there, man.
Yeah, well, that's what they were trying to do with Sheamus, and then it fell off.
Yeah.
And then they reunited Sheamus and Drew for a while, and now what direction is that going to go?
I mean, technically, if you're really wanting to wow me with that, if you're going to go that way with this whole combo, have them join forces, but have Butch, as they call him now, Butch,
Yeah.
and the other one leave the ranks and like kind of like flatten Sheamus down, just start beating the shit out of him, and then Drew, just because Drew's that stand-up guy, come out and chase him out of the ring and help Sheamus up. Now Sheamus doesn't know what to think. They part ways, just still looking at each other, not thinking nothing. Now Sheamus has a match against Butch, right? Butch and him are fighting. All of a sudden, the other guy gets involved. Bang! They start beating the hell out of him again. Here comes McIntyre. And all of a sudden, now GM comes out and says, hey, this is now a tag team match. Have them beat Butch and the other guy, right? Don't, go their separate ways. All of a sudden, McIntyre's getting jumped by those guys again. And McIntyre's getting jumped by them. Now they're working as a team, watching each other's back. Now you put them in the tag team division, right? If you're not going to put main titles on them, like super main titles on them, bring them in, have them win the tag titles. Let them be a tag team for a year plus, like 300, like 400 and some odd days as the champions, right? Then figure out who's come up, who's still here, and who deserves to go up and push them. If their contracts are coming up, you do it that way. But if they're coming up and you want to split them, they lose the titles. There's a little dissension. They both go their own way. If one's contract's coming up, push the other one. Simple.
Okay, I could see that happening. That makes me think if I can find something like that.
Here he goes. He's thinking, is that why I smell fire? No, wait, no. That's down the shore.
Wrestling contract. Okay, here we go. So WWE expired contracts coming up. So you have Rey Mysterio is done in September 2023. Alexa Bliss through 2023. Riddle through 2023. Ricochet summer 24. Jinder Mahal, who you don't see anymore. Kofi, Big E, and Xavier all signed through December next year. Dana Brooke 2014. Randy Orton's up next year. Kevin Owens next year. So, I mean,
They're going to re-sign most of that because they're not going to let, number one, you can't let Alexa Bliss go, especially if you get the Wyatt angle going. Two, you can't let Randy Orton go because he's a big name player. He built his career there. You're going to have him end his career there. But also, you could do a lot with him and Bray Wyatt if the Wyatt thing is going on.
true.
Big E and Kofi and Xavier Woods, I don't know how they're doing, but if it was me and you're keeping their contract renewed, get them back to statuses where they're mid-card and they're showing up and they're doing things and get them moving up the ranks and up the ranks. And then from there, give Big E the push for a title and have Kofi and Xavier do the tag round again and go after NXT Gold. Stay there, stay there, stay there, stay there. Lose it by not actually losing it in like a fatal four-way tag match. Come to the main roster, bust ass a little bit for another year, and then go in, win the titles. Contracts are coming up in a year. Have them hold it for like half the year or the full year. Right before the contracts end, have them lose it. Contracts end, they retire, they walk.
True. So, let's see. On this
Dana Brooke just needs to go away.
Well, on this list I just found, Brock Lesnar's contract's up the end of the month.
Yep.
Elias,
That just shows that he might not come back, and it's, hey, the FU right there was, hey, Cody, you're never going to get a championship. Here is me giving you the closest you're ever going to get to top competitors again.
True. Edge is up in the end of the
Edge, I just want to retire. I love that he's back with the new attitude and all that. I just want Edge to retire. Just go live out your life. Go back to Canada. Relax.
Elias, who I don't care about.
He needs to just put him down in like NWA down south.
Matt Riddle, end of 2023.
Riddle, if they're going to do the RK Bro again, or kind of bring him and take him from the frat boy stoner and put him to like a darker version of himself and fit him in with the Wyatt family with Randy Orton, I could see that.
All right, you got Ray up the end of August.
Let him go.
I mean, who else? Shane was even under contract when he came back. Yeah, but then you have a bunch up next year. But like, it doesn't like go into complete detail. But like Goldberg never resigned his contract.
Yeah, but how much do you see him?
Well, he couldn't even agree to a Legends contract though.
Yeah, but see, the problem with Legends contracts is they're obligated to make certain appearances at certain times. They're obligated to get 8 to 6 months in advance notice that, hey, we're doing this push. We need you to getting in shape for this. In the 8 months we have you, in 3.5 months, we want to put you back on TV. We want you back in a decent look of shape or whatnot. Then they bring them back. Then they start doing the promo cuts. Then they start doing the little shits here and there with TV time. Then they push for the pay-per-view. Then you get to the pay-per-view. He does the pay-per-view, and you don't see him for like another year or two. He does maybe one more promo talk, and that's it. And I love that they do it, but I hate it because if you really wanted to wow me, have him stay for, you can bring him back. He does the pay-per-view. He comes back the next night, still feuding, keeps it. Comes back 3 weeks from now, does another wrestling gig. Maybe does an off-the-air wrestling gig. Then comes back to the next one, has the big blowout with the guy. Something happens. Oh, fakes an injury, gone, out for 6 months. Call it a day. Comes back to challenge him. wins it, but injures himself and goes on retiring. Something like that. Don't keep these guys under Legends contracts. Use them so sparingly that they're irrelevant to us,
Mm-hmm. Now here's an interesting one. AJ Styles' contract's up in January of next year, and he has come out and said that this would be his last contract. He said that before he got hurt. Does he say, okay, I'm going to do one more year, or is he done?
I think he's done. He has 4 kids.
Yeah,
4
like
kids. He's toured the whole world. He may come. I see him retire if his contract's truly up and he says no more contracts. Not meaning no more contracts with WWE, but no more contracts in general. I see him retiring. I see him doing the family thing, and I see him doing that so that when they come back, like WWE goes, hey man, listen, we just acquired Switchblade Jay White, Juice Roberts, this person. We can't call them the Bullet Club, but we got them called as the OC. We're bringing them back because Gallows and Anderson came with them. And we've talked with the guys, and we want you to come out during this big battle against this group that's bigger than them. And we want you to be the masked figure that's been stepping up and showing up here and there and doing things. And we want you to unveil yourself and be like the new leader of the club. And we sign you to like a 1-year deal. This is the amount of shows you'll do. And then after that, your contract's up.
Fair enough.
And then he could just sit there and go, up the money, down a little bit of time, call it a day. And they'll probably go, okay, for this kind of push and like media that we're going to get on it, fuck yeah.
So I was wrong. Drew McIntyre's contract is up April next year.
Next year. Okay, that's fine. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, to me, it's still better than nothing, but I still say you got a lot of angles you could work with that, man.
True.
I mean, you really do.
Owens just signed through 2025. Who else do we have? The Miz is up in the end of 2025.
As much as I hate the Miz, I hope that the Miz does one of 2 things. A, leaves for a little bit, gets not a Legends contract, but just like a basic contract with them, off scene for a little bit, does like some promos here and there, comes out, maybe does a couple dark matches here and there, and then not retires, but goes behind the scenes and becomes a mouthpiece only for a group.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't have an end date, but Reigns signed a multi-year deal, which allows him to have a relaxed schedule. He signed in May of 2022. So Reigns isn't going anywhere.
No.
Ronda has no end date on hers.
Well, the reason Ronda's got no end date now is because the UFC can use her again, too.
So
I thought chat would have had some questions for us, bro. So, I mean,
yeah.
I'm kind of surprised at chat tonight. Chat, what the fuck happened?
Put Miz as a heel color commentator. I mean,
I thought about the commentator too. The only problem I have is we already have one joke on there already in Corey Graves.
100% agree.
I cannot stand Corey Graves. Great, don't get me wrong. Talent is talent. He is talented. But the man irks me worse than Michael frickin' Cole.
Michael Cole's actually been kind of funny lately. With the whole Pat McAfee thing.
Yeah, I know. But, I mean, if you really want to wow me and put somebody behind that desk, you want to put The Miz, okay, put The Miz there as the color commentator. But you need somebody next to him doing it as well. And if you're going to have a mouthpiece, you got to have a good one. And it's got to be a former wrestler as well. I don't know who.
There's someone on SmackDown right now that's actually doing a pretty bang-up job, I actually think.
Who's that?
Wade Barrett.
I like Wade Barrett, but I don't know. I mean, I prefer him to be like general manager-esque or even ring valet manager-esque on like bring him in as Imperium's mouthpiece / benefactor.
Fair enough.
What Mark say?
He just said put Miz as a heel cover commentator.
Okay, yeah, but see the problem with heel cover commentator is you basically get Miz just being Miz, which is fine. But if you really want to wow me with it, if you make Miz a commentator, you have to have somebody that would annoy the fucking piss out of him.
True.
Because then it would be like kind of how Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler was. They were good together, but they had that attitude of like the King annoyed me or JR you're stupid, blah, 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 that kind of thing. This way, because with the way the Miz is, it would be like the match would be going on, there'd be nothing to talk about in the ring basically, and they'd be bantering, which gives you that awesome energy, and then all of a sudden the match starts getting hot and they stop and they're talking about the match, and then all of a sudden they start arguing, and it gets into an argument about the match. I get it, but you got to put somebody really good there with them. Really good.
Okay. So I just kind of know the list. If you want me to go over some of this, that will blow you away.
Okay.
WWE salaries. how much certain wrestlers make in a calendar year?
Okay. So where are we starting? We doing how you want to do top 10?
I'm doing the top. I'm just gonna go down the list.
Okay, let's go. John Cena.
Nope. Brock Lesnar.
Wow.
Kind of like how Monsoon and Bobby Heenan used to be.
That was a good one. Gorilla
Yeah.
Monsoon and Heenan. I preferred the antics of them. They were good. I mean McMahon and who was it? Who was alongside McMahon for years?
Oh God, you're making me think.
Well, it was McMahon and Monsoon at one point. It was McMahon and it wasn't. Was it Raw? Was it JR at one point?
It might have been, yeah. JR was around the block back then, that's for sure.
Jesse Ventura. Yeah, that was another one.
Oh God.
All right, so you got Brock Lesnar, top number 1. Thanks, Mark. Dude, that was great. Jesse the Body Ventura.
So Lesnar makes about $10 million a year.
Damn. All right, number 2.
Roman Reigns.
Coming in at?
Just about $5 million. But,
Okay.
like John Cena, he gets a merchandise bonus too.
Yeah, he probably has the merchandising rights to most of his shit, yeah. All right, next.
Vince McMahon.
Don't even put him on the list. Skip him. He's out. Who's the real number 3?
Randy Orton.
Oh, fuck. Come on.
$4.5 million.
Okay.
AJ Styles.
I figured he'd be in the top 5, yeah.
$3.5 million.
Okay.
Does Triple H count or no?
Nah, kick him out. He's CEO status. Fuck him.
Okay. After him, you got Seth Rollins making a nice $3 million.
Okay.
Right underneath him, we have Mrs. Rollins.
Oh,
Becky Lynch,
Jesus.
$3 million. So between the two of them,
That's $6 million a year.
Yep. Her base salary remains $1 million, but she has earned around $3 million in the last few years. So
Who?
Becky.
Oh.
Then they got The Undertaker on this list.
Well, the reason they have him is he's probably under that Legends agreement, and he's got to have contractual obligations for everything.
Yeah, but he's making $2.5 million doing it.
Yeah, because they still use his name. They use him for likeness rights. I guarantee you, most of these have asterisks next to them, like Legends contract. For use of not what I'm saying, like not on your page, but on the actual contracts. It's like licensing rights to use this and like syndication on the network of Undertaker matches, shit like that. Merchandise.
Well, if you throw the Undertaker out, the next one's really gonna surprise you.
Miz.
Yep, $2.5 million.
I knew he was worth a lot in that company because why else would they keep that big mouth motherfucker around so long?
Kevin Owens under him at $2 million.
What?
Yeah.
Man, I wouldn't even give you 2 pennies stuck together for that motherfucker.
Charlotte Flair, $2 million.
That's way overpriced.
Her older salary was $600,000. They bumped her up to $2 million a year.
That's more for Charlotte. 600,000. I would say that. Okay.
Paul Heyman.
Tell me 1.5.
2.
I think Heyman should be where Becky and Seth are.
Okay. Ronda Rousey.
She deserves to be lower.
1.5.
Yeah, she deserves to be like $1 million maybe.
Dolph Ziggler, $1.5 million.
Ziggler deserves to be like, I'll keep Dolph at that.
Okay. Bobby Lashley, $1 million.
Bobby Lashley deserves to be a little bit lower than that.
Drew McIntyre.
Just saying. As much TV time as he has, his presence and everything, he's gotten better on the microphone, but you're not worth a full mil. I'd say maybe $850.
Okay. Drew McIntyre, $1 million.
I think that should be a little bit higher.
Sheamus, $1 million.
A little bit higher.
Jinder Mahal, who you haven't seen on TV in forever.
Two pennies stuck together.
900,000.
Yeah, 2 pennies stuck together.
Kane's under a legend contract. Shane's even on the list.
Yeah, let's skip him.
Bianca Belair.
How much she making?
500,000.
All right, I can see that. That's perfect for her.
Sami Zayn, 500,000.
Oh yeah, that's even stretching it a little.
Ricochet, 450,000.
That needs to go up a hair. I'd say like 6 for him.
Matt Riddle, 400,000.
Yeah, that's fine.
Bayley, 350,000.
That's fine.
Alexa Bliss, 350,000.
If she was wrestling more, doing more shit, I'd say she's about 650.
Oscar, 350,000.
Oscar really needs to be up there, like 650, 700. I don't know what they're doing with that.
Liv Morgan, 250,000.
She needs to be 450 range. Sorry, you're wasting. This is why you're not getting the best out of your talent either. Now, granted, I still say if I'm at 250,000 and I came in and I'm like, all right, and I bust my ass, and you guys are like, all right, man, we're renegotiating your contract for the next, we'll call it 4 years. The next 4 years, you're making $450,000 a year. I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. I'm going to do that. But if I come out and, granted, you still have me as a C-level tier, but I'm doing A-level matches, and all of a sudden the contract comes up and you're like, oh yeah, man, we're gonna bump you to like 900,000. But the guys I'm facing all the time are making like 2.5, 3.5 million. I'm gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to do, go out there, wrestle, and entertain a crowd. But I'm gonna back it off a little because I've been giving you everything I've got the whole time, and you're not gonna put your money where your mouth is on an investment. I'm gonna start to show you that, hey, I can do what you want me to do, but I'm not gonna do it over what I should be doing for the money I'm getting.
True. And then next 5 are all NXT guys.
Oh, give me them. I might know some of them.
Braun Breaker.
$150,000.
Yep.
He deserves that.
J.D. McDoug.
Nope, he deserves to be down there.
Carmelo Hayes.
Down there.
100,000. Roxanne Perez. 100,000.
Down there.
And Cora Jade, 100,000.
Yeah, that's fine. That's not bad. I expected to see some higher and some lower, but I mean, it's that list is fucked, man. That is just I don't even know what to say to that, man. It's kind of fucked up because some of those I believe should be higher, and some of them I'm like, you're paying for that, really? I don't know. That's just my thought process. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, you know.
True. Let's see. AEW. See if I can find a.
Oh, that'd be a good one. I definitely want to do that.
All right. Let's see what I have on this one. I just pulled up. All right. Here you go. Top 10.
All right. Let's do the top 10.
Top 10 highest paid AEW wrestlers.
Okay. What we got?
Number 1. Dean Ambrose, Jon Moxley.
5.5.
6 million.
Ooh, I was close. I'd say he's worth it for what he's doing right now.
Tied for second, you have a 3-way tie.
Let's hear go in order.
Mind you, one of these people isn't in the company anymore.
CM Punk.
Chris Jericho, Kenny Omega, Cody Rhodes.
Okay, so we'll cut Cody out. So those two, what are we at? 5?
3 million.
Ooh.
After Cody, you have his wife, who's not in AEW anymore neither. She was making 2 million.
Okay.
Dusty Rhodes, 2 million.
Okay.
Nia Rose, 2 million. The Lucha Bros, 2 million. Young Bucks.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, that's got to be an old ass list, dude. Check when that was made.
It was.
Check when.
June 19th, 2022.
Yeah, because Lucha Bros right now no, there's no way the Lucha Bros are that low.
Mark has a question for you.
Why are you not a fan of Kevin Owens? Um, okay. It's not that I don't give credit where credit's due. He's an amazing athlete. He's doing what he can. When Kevin Owens busted on the scene in NXT, everybody was enraged for him, And I always say this: he's a bigger guy doing a lot of things that a lot of lightweight guys should be doing, as opposed to him. Not, like I said, not taking away credit from him, but I hate that his whole thing is fight Owens, fight, but he's such a punk. And granted, I know that's the persona and attitude. Like when you think about wrestling, you don't think about the behind the scenes wrestler as you're watching it. As the behind the scenes guy, I've watched some of the behind the scenes footage on the car ride that WWE did, ride along, whatever. And oh my God, I laughed my ass off. He's fucking funny as shit. But the character itself doesn't really speak to me and what I like about wrestling. Now, granted, you have to go back to when wrestling was wrestling with me, which is I grew up with like Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, Sting, the Four Horsemen. I grew up with that shit. Now, fast forward to right when the Attitude Era is happening. Rock, Stone Cold, great gimmicks. Basically all that. So when you bring Kevin Owens into this mix as well, and I know there's variations to people's signature moves, and then people use other signature moves, just call it something else. When Kevin Owens had the pop-up powerbomb and the frog splash, the pop-up powerbomb, okay, that's just basically a powerbomb. You just pop the guy up. No big deal. You made that your move. You did the frog splash, the bullfrog splash, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Eddie Guerrero, Rob Van Dam, Montez Ford, a bunch of people do this. Okay, it's not that hard of a move. He now has adopted the Swanton Bomb, which is of course Jeff Hardy's, and the Stone Cold Stunner. Okay, now you're pushing it a little far. The character does not speak to me. You're using a lot of moves that I don't even think you should be doing. If you really wanted to wow me, I'd have given that move, the Stone Cold Stunner, to somebody else. But the problem is I'd have had a variation on it because the inventor of the Stunner, Steve Austin. You're never going to take that away. Sami Zayn, I'm not a big fan of him. The whole, you're a hipster, dude. What's wrestling about that? I mean, come on. I get it. It appeals to the masses of fans. But to me as a fan, it's not my thing. Just like me and John have talked about this. And I know everybody's got a gimmick. That's, they're not their real name. It's their gimmick. It's their character. I've never been a fan of gimmick wrestlers, like really gimmicky wrestlers. I never watched NXT because I didn't have the channel that had NXT, which was the network at times. When I first saw Enzo Amore and Big Cass come out on Monday Night Raw, I had seen these guys in NXT and didn't know who they were because back then, Enzo wasn't as flashy, wasn't as, whatever, but I didn't know the music either because back then the music was different than Soft as a Sin. Okay. When they came out and went against the Dudley Boys in a battle of wits and Enzo was just frying on the microphone, I was like, oh my God, I love this gimmick. This works. This speaks to me. And my wife even said it to me. She goes, you hate gimmicky wrestlers. I was like, I don't care. This is fucking gold. This is genius. Kevin Owens? Sorry. It's my opinion. I'm entitled to it, but that's my thoughts on Kevin Owens.
How you doing?
Oh, you don't. As like I said, whenever you call my phone, because it's the only ringtone I saved once everything came out, is Soft as a Sin.
Fair enough. So I found a slideshow on YouTube of the AEW Superstar Salaries in 2023.
Whew.
And this was updated 2 months ago.
Okay.
So 800,000, you have Samoa Joe, Christian, and Buddy Matthews.
Okay, and Samoa Joe, I haven't really seen much lately, but I know he's still there. He was a title holder.
Growing up in the South, a big thing was the territories. No real gimmicks, but just wrestling. When I was originally introduced to WF, I wasn't a fan.
Yeah, back then you guys had, and I don't know how old you are, but you guys had NWA. You had a couple of the other promotions that were actual, like, if it was Texas, if it was Alabama, if it was Kentucky, they had their own ones, and they were great. I mean, I remember the days of, and I still say this, um, Jim Cornette, when he was down south, he had the gangsters, New Jack and Mustafa Ali, and they were going into wrestling events, and people hated them, not just because of the like who they were. They acted like total gangsters and went at people about being white and brought that diversity thing out, which was messed up as shit, but it made for a great gimmick.
He's saying I'm 43, so it was Georgia, Mid Atlantic, and Memphis.
Yeah, Mid Atlantic had some freaking great cards, dude. I will say that. I remember Jim Cornette talking about some of those ones down there too. I've watched a lot of behind the scenes shit. Oh my god, dude, it's nuts. All right, so where were we? Who we with?
So at 800,000, you had Samoa Joe, Christian, and Buddy Matthews at $800,000 a year.
Thanks for coming back, Jack.
850,000 a year, you have Miro, Paul Wright, and Orange Cassidy.
Hold on. Freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy.
Okay. 950,000, you have Jungle Boy,
Jack Gallagher, yeah.
MJF making 1 million.
Fuck MJF, fucking pain in my ass.
Sting's getting paid 1 million.
Yep.
Brian Danielson 1.2.
American Dragon.
Pac 2 million.
Who?
Pac, he was Neville in WWE back in the day.
Oh, don't say Pac. Call him the bastard Pac. Yeah.
Young Bucks.
Dude, he was a talent that got wasted.
He was. I completely agree. Young Bucks, Lucha Bros, Nia Rose, yeah, they're also saying 2 million on this live show.
Fucking the Young Bucks, bro. Johnny, I need you to get in on a super kick party, man.
Dustin Rhodes 2 million. Brandy Rhodes is still here at 2 million.
Well, he's still
yeah.
he has a contract. He doesn't wrestle that much anymore. I don't even think he is. He's got his own stable where he teaches wrestling, but he's on there because it's almost like a Legends contract. He still does behind the scenes work, so his contract is still considered a wrestler in case he has to come back.
Mark says here that was in the Smoky Mountains. The gangsters fucked up the Rock and Roll Express.
Yep.
There was a huge thing when that happened.
Yeah, apparently because he went off and went the racial route with it when he did it, because they were dressed up like South Central Los Angeles gangsters, like because of that time frame, and they went off and was like going off on them to where they were getting threatened by people calling them like the N-word and all this shit, like going off, like they were told like, we got to get them out of here. Like they rushed, like they would be like, yo man, we got to get you out of here. There were people coming up to him, spitting in his face, threatening him. I believe New Jack, one of the guys actually threatened him, and he beat the shit out of the guy. Like literally whooped the shit because the guy grabbed him. You're not supposed to do that. And New Jack and Mustafa started beating the hell out of the guy.
Got my buddy Prince in the chat. He always likes to drop in and do a show bomb for us to get the show after. Appreciate it,
Prince, what is up, man? What's up?
Okay, I'll tell you a true story about Prince. He was actually in your stream the first night you streamed. Remember King Uno?
Yes.
That is Prince.
Oh, awesome. Awesome, man. So glad you stopped by. Thanks for the share bomb, baby.
Prince is a good friend of mine. He was on Video Game Mania back when I first started doing that show, so.
And now you've grown to 1 million different streamers.
Yeah, I have. Bro, have you watched that Dark Side of the Ring on New Jack? That was nuts.
Everything. You know what? I knew about most of the shit in the Dark Side of the Ring thing, Johnny. I've told you this. Him versus Vic Grimes. Scaffolding match in XPW. Or catwalk match. I'm sorry, scaffolding match. It was called a scaffolding slash catwalk. So, before that, New Jack's the kind of guy, and this is part of what's said in it. New Jack's the kind of guy, if you guys go up there and it's showtime and you don't fucking do it, he's going to be pissed. So they had been feuding for a while. New Jack likes to jump off balconies. Well, they got up on top of, and people say it's a balcony ledge. No, it looks like it's the top of a scaffolding, but to me it looked like it was the top of like a forklift. So they get up there and they're supposed to jump down, like, throw each other and go off together through a table. Vic decides to do a flip because he keeps telling Jack, I can't do it, I can't do it. So New Jack says, we going on 3. 1, 2, and Jack pulls him. And Jack's keeping him with him. Well, Vic flips over and lands on New Jack's head, cracks his skull. He had bleeding, hemorrhaging, like stuff like that. So Jack tells the story as, I have insomnia now. I get bad headaches. I lost the sight in my one eye. So then he goes on to say, it's been a year now. They're getting ready to do this match. Vic comes to the back and says, oh, I'm sorry. And Jack goes, motherfucker, I ain't seen you in a year. And you're going to come now and check on me if I'm sorry? Fuck you. And he says that. Well, before the match, he goes to a pawn shop and buys a stun gun. Not no cheap ass one neither. Buys a stun fucking gun. Keeps it in his pocket. They get up on the thing. They're battling up on these scaffolding. Like, it's hanging from the roof. And there's tables set in the ring, like 3 or 4 high. Jack starts stun gunning him and tells the story of Vic is going, Jack, I can't feel my legs. Stop, man, stop. I can't feel my legs. Jack picks him up and goes, bombs away. And he lands through 2 of the tables and his legs land like this on the ring ropes and he bounces back in. Okay? From all the way up in the rafters. New Jack tells the story. He didn't put enough oomph behind it. That wasn't the act. That wasn't that. Jack went to fucking kill him and throw him to the ground.
Damn.
He got a broken wrist, I think some bruised ribs, fucked up leg, nothing super major. He survived, but D'Lo Brown is on the documentary as well, and D'Lo says, yeah, Jack went to kill him. Jack went to fucking kill him.
Good old D'Lo Brown.
Mm-hmm.
I think I have his entrance on my boy list. But, yeah, I mean...
If you get a chance, and I'll tell you this, if you get a chance, if you got Vice or you can get Vice, and you go to Dark Side of the Ring, look up the New Jack one. Definitely well worth it. Most of the narration on some of these ones were done by Chris Jericho. Very good. There is a Chris Benoit one.
I did watch it.
It was a two-part.
The Benoit one was creepy.
It was a two-parter, and it was, yeah, to say the least, yeah.
Very dark.
And to hear some of the people talking about it, yeah.
I remember when that news story first happened.
So do I. Very fucked up.
Whew.
And there's people still to this day that go, Chris Benoit should be in the wrestling. No, he shouldn't. No. You don't get to be accoladed for killing your fucking kid and your wife and then fucking killing yourself and taking the coward's way out. You killed 2 people and you couldn't live with yourself, so you ended it. Okay, fine, whatever. I would have loved for you to still been alive. They found you in there like maybe half dead, picked you up, brought you back to life, put you in prison, and a bunch of people just killed you.
I mean, bit harsh, but I mean, I could see it happening.
He does not deserve to be in any Hall of Fame. Granted, I think his matches still should be shown on WWE, but I get why they don't do it.
Mark saying they have some new Dark Sides coming out, and a lot of people are trying to say Kevin Sullivan was behind all that shit. Who the hell is Kevin Sullivan?
You don't remember Kevin Sullivan from WCW? He was the little guy, bald, like baldish blonde hair. He ran with Dean Malenko and them for a while.
I remember Malenko.
He was a short, stocky guy, dude. Look up Kevin Sullivan and look at him from WCW, and you'll look at him and be like, oh shit, okay, yeah.
I guess I'll turn on this other monitor real quick.
What are you doing?
I have to turn on my other monitor. I turned it off.
Why do you turn it off? Leave it on.
Oh,
you know you're going to have to look stuff up because you're Encyclopedia Man. Oh, that's your name for wrestling. Encyclopedia Man. Nah, that's your superhero name.
Something like that.
I don't know. You could be the Hurricane.
He does look a little familiar.
Yeah. I don't know if Kevin Sullivan was behind it. I know that, Chris Benoit had been fighting his demons for a while, and I just think, the loss of Eddie Guerrero kind of really, really fucked him up. And I think after he got fucked up, he started getting on some certain things because everybody still says to this day they think he was a roid user and a few other things.
Benoit?
But I mean, yeah,
They came out and said he was.
yeah, exactly. But I'm saying, you know, between that, the drinking, and whatever else he was on, plus all the concussions he had taken, they're blaming it on that. I mean, you can't just blame it on that. The man has to have some kind of control. And to go off and do what you did, man, you got off light, in my opinion, by killing yourself.
I completely agree. I mean, like anytime someone who does act like that and then ends their own life is taking the coward's way out, hands down. Would agree with that 110%.
You were man enough to take a life, but you weren't man enough to man up and take what consequences were coming for you because you knew as soon as somebody caught you, whether it was her family or somebody that knew the family, you knew you wouldn't be able to handle it because you'd get your ass killed without them using a gun. They'd probably beat the shit out of you, even though you're this big fucking badass wrestler. You know, you knew you couldn't take it, so you were just like, all right, I got to do this. I got to end it. The people are like, oh, he was remorseful. He was so upset and heartbroken that he did it. He did. No, fuck that. There was no heartbroken in that. That was pure fucking coward.
Yeah, and evil too.
Mm-hmm.
I still get chills like reading the stories.
I do too. I do. Like the night Eddie died, and them talking about that in that whole thing. When the night Eddie died, that was fucked up. Like anytime somebody dies, it's fucked up. Whether you like the character or not, or you like the person behind the character or not, it's still fucked up, man. And it takes a toll on a lot of people because these guys on the road and girls, they're family. Just like I say with me at work, I'm with these people at work 8 hours plus a day, right? You are basically my family because I see you just as much as I see my own.
Yeah, I agree with that.
There's people you like in the family. There's people you don't like. There's people you tolerate, and then there's people you're like, yo, man, you got to hear this. Yo, we got to talk. Yeah.
Just like what was it over the hill when Owen Hart fell to his death at a live pay-per-view.
I remember seeing that happen live, dude. Oh my god.
Nobody wanted to keep going, but
they did, and the reason they did was because they knew he would have fucking gone out if his ghost was popping up from that. He'd have been like, "Yo, you motherfuckers better get out there and do this. Do not let me go out like that."
That's another one. I didn't see it live.
Yeah,
I did.
I was watching the pay-per-view when it all happened. And it was fucked up because they pan away. You see him just laying there on the ring. You see the people around him. You see him trying to get him, and then they pan away. And then every once in a while, then they didn't show nothing. Now he's gone. They're telling you, oh, we're checking on him. We'll give you updates. We'll give you updates. That's actually about on Dark Side of the Ring as well. That was another good one.
I watched that one.
About how they used a different company for the carabiners. Instead of it being this kind of lock, it was this. I mean, the negligence falls on the promoter at that point, but who the promoter hired. But the person that was hired should have known that, hey, they were using this to do this constantly, right? Okay, we're going to use it. But no, they cut a corner to save some money.
Yep. Mark said he was also watching it when Owen died. That shit was rough. You could tell it was bad when you saw Jerry Lawler's face. Yeah. I mean,
Jerry Lawler, man, looked ghost white. Like it looked like somebody came up to him, smacked him in the chest, and his soul left his body. And it was right at that point, it was bad, dude.
Yeah, you never like to see any of that stuff.
No, never. Love them or hate them as characters or people. You never want to see anybody get hurt. You never want to see anybody die. You don't ever want to see anybody have a career losing injury, just like any sport, man. It's fucked up because that's something that they worked their asses off for. And now either A, they can't do it no more. B, they're going to have to recover from this and try to come back. Or C, their life is ended because of it.
Mm-hmm.
And will never be able to do it again.
Very true. I mean, think that's a good stopping point for tonight. I don't know if you agree.
Hey man, we're ending it at a sad note, which I'm fine with because it was talked about and we knew this day was eventually going to come where we're going to have to talk about some of this shit.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot more you can talk about when it comes to that, but
Yeah. I was very impressed with tonight's show. Thank you, chat, as always. We love having you guys interact with us. It brings out more in me and John than you guys know. Um, we really do love the support.
yeah, I definitely do. I mean, it's an up and coming channel and it's growing. So anytime people want to take their time and listening on a show, interact with it, give us ideas, or just bullshit with us, it makes it fun.
So I gotta say it to chat. I hope some people watch this if they're not on right now. Guys, I'm thinking we want to do an all chat night. We want you guys to determine what we talk about.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
And whenever night we could do it any night. You could do it every night we do this. Just we want you more interactive with us because in all honesty, I'm full of useless wrestling knowledge, so is John. But we also like talking about stuff outside of wrestling. Like I've seen people's Instagrams and stuff. So by all means, you know, we're stopping tonight, which is great. But we'd love to see you back next Thursday.
Yeah, I mean, or, or as I always say, there's other shows throughout the week as well.
Yeah.
I
No,
mean,
you are right. There are other shows too.
and that's what I like about the platform I'm building. That you might not like wrestling, but you like to talk about movies. So then you would come check out Friday Night Movie Night. You might not like.
Which is tomorrow night. And what do we have on the list for tomorrow, John?
Well, it's up in the air right now because my other host isn't feeling well, so I gotta come up with a backup plan. But always come up with something. Friday night.
You always do. You're like the magician pulling rabbit out of a hat, man.
Friday night's always a lot of fun, and Monday we talk about sports other than wrestling. We go NFL, MLB, NBA. I do a little bit of NASCAR. Ron likes to make fun of me. Turn left, turn left.
He's making a left turn. And then
Tuesday,
Tuesday night you have my wonderful, talented sister on.
yeah, but you gotta admit she does a good job with it.
That's what I said. Wonderful, talented sister. What are you talking about? I was giving her props. I was not. Do you wait? You thought I was being condescending on that?
No.
Okay, I was just going to make it sure. But you guys do an awesome show there. And then Wednesday nights, you do the Video Game Mania.
Yeah, well, I try.
Which has been a staple as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's not our longest running show. Friday Night Movie Night is.
Yes.
Friday Night Movie Night has been on since we started this back in August.
Yeah.
That's probably one show I'll never get rid of.
Oh, well, why would you? I mean, it's awesome. I mean, you guys he's got a great platform over here doing that. You guys see me for one show, and
Sometimes
I always tell you guys to come check out John. If you're ever feeling if you're into gaming, by all means, John will tell you to come over, check out my show. I stream. The name's right there. I'm trying to go over it right there. See it right there? That's it.
DarthNexxu5.
I'm on Twitch. I'm working on getting on Facebook and YouTube. I have social media accounts, same name. Check us out. We're a family-oriented thing. When one grows, we take the other with us.
Yeah, so that's why I figured someone like Matt, who's trying to grow his, I know he knew a lot about wrestling. I was like, let's collab and make a show together, and that's what you get.
And we have put on one of the best shows. I think we could rival some wrestling shows. We start getting more chatters in there. I think we could blow some of these other guys out of the water eventually.
Maybe. What games do you stream? That's a question from Mark.
We're getting this right at the end of the show. All right.
Yeah.
Who's that from, Mark?
Yep.
Mark, I'm a gamer first, a streamer / content creator second. So I always stream whatever I feel like. My most popular games are I play COD. That's the number one. Call of Duty is by far one of my favorite first-person shooters ever. Fortnite. I also do Apex Legends here and there. I'm trying to get into the Apex thing. I love it. I play Overwatch. I'll basically play anything. I'll play PGA Tour. I'll play Hexic HD. If you don't know what that is, take a look at it. It's pretty cool. I'll play Bully. I'll play RPGs. I'll play racing games. It's all what hits me. Right now, it's basically been COD because that is one of my, like I said, one of my favorite games of all time. Eventually on weekends, once I have a set full schedule on what days I'm going live and times, eventually I'm going to do a retro game night, which we will dive into a lot of retro games from old consoles and do that. And there is a show that might be coming down the road to my channel that the person next to me. Wait, I got to do it that way, don't I? No, wait, that way. Yeah, I forgot. I'm not on the mirror. Right there. He knows all about the other show and what possibly could be coming down the road for Saturday mornings, but that is a long way off for now. But it will be a kind of like what this is, podcast / talk show / viewing show.
Yeah. Well, always full of ideas. I mean, we like to inspire one another. We gotta get Kevin on here too. We gotta get him promoting himself too.
We've been saying it. He don't come on. I think the next pay-per-view that we actually talk about, we should have him on the week before and the week after the pay-per-view. This way, he's got to go and watch the pay-per-view or check out the pay-per-view, and he can make his picks with us as a special guest. And then me and you make our picks. Our picks count towards our winning thing, our bracket that we have. And then his will just be, filler in as a guest, and we'll see how well we do.
Well, May 6th.
I don't know about that, man. I might be hungover that night. Wait, May 6th. Oh, the pay-per-view.
That's the next pay-per-view. So, with that
wait, is that King and Queen of the Ring in Saudi?
Backlash.
Backlash. Where's that going to be at? Oh, that's in London.
Puerto Rico.
Oh, Puerto Rico. Oh, that's the one with Bad Bunny. Okay, yeah.
So,
okay.
Kevin Peak, if you go back and rewatch this, May 4th and May 11th are the 2 dates we need you for, sir.
May 4th and 11th, Kevin. Your ass better be ready, dog.
You can talk when you talk to him. You can let him know we called him out on the show.
Well, I'll probably talk to him tomorrow night during a COD session because I know the new season just came out, so we got to get in there and start rolling through Warzone like it's nobody's business.
But you guys have fun with that. I will be here for Friday night movie night.
I'll be popping in for you, brother. You know that.
Oh, I know. You always do. But
again, guys, from me, I'll let John always ends the show for us, but from me, peace.
Well, I gotta say thank you to who stopped in chat first. Then you can say peace.
Okay.
We had Mark, awesome to see you in chat. Prince, thanks for stopping by. Jack hung out. We had appearance from Rick Ware, Adam himself.
Woo!
Don't know if he's still watching. Uncle Chazzy popped in with a what's up.
Uncle Chazzy, my boy.
We had K-Fob, my cousin Curtis, my cousin Kelsey.
Ha! You said my cousin Curtis.
Well, he's family.
I mean,
too.
technically, he is family. He's the Canadian one, but Kelsey, it was great having you.
And Ron stopped in. Andrew made an appearance. Kevin popped in to give a what's up earlier. So yeah, I mean,
it was a great show, man.
Morgan even popped in with a comment tonight too.
Yeah, well, she thinks I'm psycho, which nobody's gonna deny I'm not.
But I hope everyone has a good night. Friday night movie night starts at 9 o'clock tomorrow night. If you want to come out and check another show out, feel free.
John will post what he's doing prior to going on because I want to know what's going on before I come in.
Good, but thanks everyone for popping in tonight, and see you.
Thanks everybody.
One.
Peace.
Peace.